what is the problem that you guys are trying to solve for?
Talking about money is like a taboo.
So can personal loan be a best option?
You go walk into a Chroma, you want to buy a TV, right? And there are EMI options available.
How you started your investment?
Financial product ever I took was term insurance.
So what are certain modules which are present on your platform if somebody wants to embark on that financial literacy journey?
So people do want to know about it, but they don't want to talk about it.
I think insurance में भी होता ही है कि lot of people depend on their employer कि वो हमें cover कर लेते हैं, but
an employer covers you only till you are employed in that organization.
Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of GrowthCast. Today I have with me my good friend Mohit, who is founder of SalarySe. We are going to sit with him, understand कि कुछ credit card related hacks जो आपको पता होना चाहिए, how you can become a better financially prudent person. At the same time, also understand कि how personal loan works. Stay till the end because you're going to get nuggets of wisdom that you'll not get anywhere else. Hi Mohit, welcome to GrowthCast podcast, and
Hi,
thank you so much for taking out time. I first want to understand from you about your career journey and how this entrepreneurship stint started for you.
Thanks a lot, Shashank, first of all, for having me here. I really like your content. Have been following it for some time, and you're really helping, especially the young people who are in their young age, just started their career, right? Really know about different stuff, how they can grow their career, how they should think about their career. So, congratulations to you. I think, entrepreneurship. Actually, I belong to Rajasthan, and then I did later part of my schooling in Calcutta. Both states, I think, are predominantly entrepreneurship driven, right? So that bug was always there that I want to start something on my own, right? But I was waiting for the right time and the right idea. Also wanted to basically fix up my financials a bit so that I could be in this for long term, right? Because it's not an easy journey. Once you are there, you have to be persistent. So that's how it all started. Once I thought that I am financially a bit secured to take care of my family, and I could take this plunge. Then I jumped onto it.
And can you give us a brief about SalarySe कि अभी startup है किस domain में? What is the problem that you guys are trying to solve for?
Yeah. So basically, when we thought of starting SalarySe, right, the idea was, what are the problems we have faced in our life, and can we figure out a problem which is the most dominant and solve for it?
Right.
We all have been salaried employees, right? And the biggest problem, at least we all face, is just managing our finances.
Right.
We all want to grow. We are really aspirational, but one thing which we lack, right, especially early part of your career, is how do you manage your finances? And I think there are three key reasons for it. One is we just don't understand these financial concepts well, and there are very limited resources to get to know these financial concepts. Second is we don't talk about it enough, right? So talking about money is like a taboo, both professionally and in I would say even in the households, right? And third is we don't have financial discipline, and you'll be surprised to know that this salaried customer segment is the most coveted segment for any financial institution, right? If you take any large bank, NBFCs, anywhere between 60 to 80% of their unsecured credit card book would be salaried customers. But still, they are not developing products which are specifically designed for these customers or which can fulfill the needs of these customers. So we thought, why don't we take that plunge? And because we have faced that situation, and while working with different financial institutions, right, we know how the product works. Right. So why don't we marry both of these and create products which are tuned to the needs of the salaried customers, right? So on our platform, how we started was, the first product we have is just educating you about different financial concepts, right? Okay. And we have gamified that content to basically suit your needs, where you can just use it in a Instagrammable fashion, right? While you are traveling, while you are in cabs, metros, anywhere. And then we start with your payments journey. So we are a UPI app. You can use our UPI to make all your payments like any other UPI app, right? Right. And on top of it, we are building use cases around credit, around reimbursements. How can we combine your corporate expenses and your personal expenses, right? Which can suit your need and which can make your life easier, right? If you are a salaried customer.
Got it. I think very rightly pointed out by you कि अभी भी टैबू होता है चीजों को लेके, and I think one thing जिसके बारे में सबसे ज्यादा misinformation है, people don't understand, is credit cards.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you feel or you want to give advice to our viewers who are watching this कि अगर credit card use कर रहे हो तो ये 2-3 mistakes तो एकदम ही मत करो.
Yeah, I think not only credit cards, right? Even credit itself is a taboo.
Right.
And the biggest problem I feel is that we don't talk about it enough, both at workplaces and at our home, right? I'll just give you a very simple example. So I was a consultant for a very long time, and one part of your job profile is continuous traveling.
Right.
So for 8 straight years, I used to travel from Gurgaon to Mumbai for my assignments. And you take flights, you stay in various hotels, right? All of these hotels, airlines have a loyalty program, and you can really optimize that to your advantage. But even talking about that used to be a taboo.
Right.
Most of the people don't talk about it, or they think कि यार आप क्या चिंदी बने वाली बातें कर रहे हो. But let me tell you, like a lot of my friends and myself, we have utilized it to our advantage. I have taken a full Euro trip just basis the loyalty points which I want on the airline and hotels, right? So this is just a very small example. And the second thing is, when I thought of starting up, right, my wife and I discussed that because it's a long journey, you need you need a corpus, right? We planned our finances well because we could talk about money. We literally sat down, we chalked out our plan, that how much money we need, how should we plan for it, and that helped me take this plunge. But that we don't do enough. Specifically coming to like credit cards, right? Most of the people just jump onto the marketing statement, what let's say the credit card companies offer, right? But if you understand how a credit card business model work, and if you understand the product well, then you'll be able to take the right choice, right? So let me just give you an example. Typically, how does a credit card company makes money? They earn up to 2% as a transaction fee, right, from the merchant where you are swiping your card.
Right.
Now, any company which is making a statement that they can give you 10%, 15% rewards on their credit card is not true, right? Because they are not earning that much. Out of that 2%, they have to take care of their expenses. They have to take care of the 45-day free credit which they are offering you, and then give you rewards.
So is this 10 to 15% a marketing gimmick that credit card companies have?
Yeah, most of the. So it is very, I won't say only marketing gimmick. It is basically, it might be aligned to a use case, right? So let's say you get 10% on food, right? On your dining experience. Now, if you don't understand that, you take the card thinking on every expense you will get 10%. That's not true.
Right.
Because at max in a month, at an industry level, people spend 10 to 12%, 15% max on their dining.
Right.
So the weighted average number is you're getting 1% rewards, right? Which is well within the ambit of what they are earning.
Got it. And there is also one thing called as minimum amount due and total amount due. So whenever you get your statement, what is advisable? Should we go with minimum amount or you should pay your total amount?
Most of the time, you should pay your total amount due, right? Minimum amount due is a concept which has been designed. Let's say if you are in need of funds, if you have spent this month, let's say more than your means,
right?
Because you wanted to make some high ticket purchase, or you had some medical emergency at home, right? And you have used your credit card to pay those bills. Then what you can do is you can pay the minimum amount due so that your credit score is not impacted, and you can roll over the amount to next month, whatever is the outstanding amount.
But remaining पे आपको फिर interest देना पड़ेगा.
Remaining पे आपको interest देना पड़ेगा. So you have to be very cautious. You need to understand this. What is the interest you are paying on the remaining amount, right? And you also need to evaluate if there are any alternate credit options which you have, which you can take. Right. So you can take that credit option and pay the credit card bill in full.
So that is a good segue into the next set of questions that I have. Those are around personal loans. So you told कि आपको identify करना पड़ेगा कि next best option क्या है. So can personal loan be a best option to navigate out of these situation, and how does personal loan work? क्योंकि ये भी बहुत बड़ा taboo है सबके लिए कि यार मैंने loan ले लिया, वो भी personal loan.
Yeah. So I think you're right. Again, personal loan is a very big taboo, right? We don't talk about it. If you have taken a personal loan, you will never tell me that I have taken a loan, because in India we feel if you have taken a credit, that means you're not doing well financially. You're not doing well, right? But actually this is not the case. Credit could be a very, very good instrument to manage your finances, and also to manage the gap in your cash flows. So let's take an example of salaried employee. You work throughout the month, you earn your salary at the end of the month,
right?
But you're spending throughout the month, so there is a cash flow mismatch.
Right.
Now, if you use credit card, you can bridge this cash flow gap, right? In terms of personal loan, I think personal loan could have different form factors, and it depends on your use cases, what use case you are taking it for, right? So the simplest form factor is, let's say you walk into a Chroma, you want to buy a TV, right? And there are EMI options available. So that is one form of personal loan. Second is you need cash for some expenditure. So you can take directly money into your account, right? So that is another form of personal loan. Now, first you have to decide what is your use case, why you are taking it. Second, you have to see how you can reduce your costs. What are the best options available? Right. So typically, if you're looking for buying a TV, it might be worthwhile to take a personal loan either from your credit card, right, where you might get a zero interest EMI because the interest is being paid by merchant. Right. Whereas if you take directly cash in your account, you have to pay interest on that. Right. But if you really want cash in your account because of some exigencies, then you have to explore the options which are there at your disposal. But to coming to your previous point, if you have a credit card bill due, right, typically credit card interest rates are higher than personal loan. If you have an offer from personal loan from somewhere else, then you should take up that offer, pay the credit card bill, and then pay personal loan in EMIs.
I think लोग ये डेल्टा आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पाते, जिसके चलते दे पे एक्सेसिव क्रेडिट, और उसमें फिर एक ट्रैप बनता जाता है because you use one credit card for paying bill of another, and then you are maybe stuck in that continuous loop. What are some of the mistakes that you have seen, or what have been some of your learnings by working with salaried professionals की कौन सी चीजें बहुत taboo हैं that we need to maybe take head on and make them aware कि this is not a taboo, you should be maybe thinking about this more?
Yeah, I think I would, again coming to my point, right, I would start with just thinking about money, talking about money.
That is your relationship with money?
Yeah, I was born in a Marwadi family, right? So from first year onwards, the only conversation you have is about money, or you listen to your parents talking about it, your siblings brother and sisters talking about it, everybody, right? So I was always very open about it. But when I joined workforce 11 years back, I realized people are extremely cautious of talking about money, what they're doing with their money. I think that's the biggest mistake we make, because if you really want to plan your future, you have to start thinking about it, and there's no shame in doing it, right? And you have to start planning about it, right? Then what you have to think is, what are the products which you should start availing right today, which can help you in future. Right. For example, let's say 5 years down the line, you have just started your job, you want to buy a bike 2 years down the line. Now, if you have never taken a credit, there is a very high possibility that you will not get a loan for the bike. Right. Because a lot of banks and BFCs, they are not comfortable in giving loans to people who have never taken a credit. Right. So why don't you start today by taking small credit, which can seamlessly integrate with your day-to-day life, right? So that is one thing. Second is, I think, discipline of managing your finances, both in terms of managing your expenses, managing your savings, and managing your investments. That's very, very crucial. Right. So you have to, if you feel that you are not able to do it yourself, I would always advise that take help of, there are a lot of digital platforms today. Like at SalarySe, we help people in investing secured FDs if you want. Right? We have pre-approved credit. Whenever you have a need, you can take those credit and repay it back without any penalties. Right? And we are also coming out with our own personal finance tool, right? Through which will give you insights into your expenses and income. But there are a lot of other platforms also which you can use. You can take help of professional advisors. Right. If you feel that you have reached that level and you need help of some professional advisor. So that could also be an option.
Can you also give us brief overview around कि जो आपने different products plan किए SalarySe में, what was the idea, और stack rank कैसे किया कि maybe go with this product first and then we'll bring this and then finally we'll transition to this? How you went about the whole process?
Yeah, so when we started thinking about SalarySe, and when we decided that we want to solve this problem, right, the first thing which we identified was how do we get into the day-to-day life of a salaried customer, solve that, right, and how do we make them more educated about educate more about different products. So that's why we chose credit on UPI as our primary product. Why? Because it's a combination of two products. One is UPI, which is your day-to-day payments. You are anyways making it, right? We wanted to make that experience smooth for you. For salaried customers, one of the other challenge they face is managing their corporate expenses and their personal expenses.
Right.
They have to manage it separately. So we said, can we bring it together through our UPI platform and make it seamless? Second is, as I was saying, credit as a product, where because most of the people don't understand. You'll be surprised, Shashank. Almost 60% of the people faces some sort of financial stress during the year, right? And almost 50-60% of those people never talk about it to their peers, to their colleagues. Right?
Mental health problems.
Yes. So it creates mental health problems. It creates dissatisfaction in their jobs, right? So they start looking for different jobs. They start looking for is there any job which can pay them higher, right? And which impacts their productivity in their current jobs.
Right.
So the idea was, how can we make the credit part seamless? Whenever they need it, they can take it, they can pay it back, right? And then the third product which we brought in was, now once the payments and the credit part is sorted, how can we help them invest in secure products, right? So the first product which we have started is with FDs, but later on we want to grow this stack to include other secured products. When I say secured, not 100% secured, but products according to the risk appetite of the customers.
But there's a lot of negative perception जो FD के around फिर influencers ने create कर रखा है. And I personally feel कि थोड़ा तो आपको secured products की तरफ जाना भी चाहिए, क्योंकि हर चीज आप risk नहीं कर सकते. What is your take on it?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think the answer is not black and white. Most of the time now, what we see, the content we see on social media, it makes you feel that you have to like take extreme risks and
become a trader,
yes,
FNO karo kuch.
Yes, right. 25% CAGR is very, very normal, but that's not how the world works, right? If you take the best of the investors in the market, right, they are very happy if they get 15% CAGR year on year, right? And if you see the latest data which SEBI released, 92% of the FNO traders make loss, right? Only 8% makes profit. So I think it's a balanced strategy which you need to adopt. You have to have some secured investments. You have to have some liquidity in your portfolio, and then you can take some risky bets, whether it is equity, whether it is mutual funds, or whether it is any other asset classes. That completely depends on what risk appetite you have, at what stage in your career journey you are, right? That's a call which you have to take personally.
And I think you also talked about कि you will have these instruments within SalarySe, जहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो आपके expenses कितने और क्या. So that will also give you a fair idea कि हर month actually save कितना करने की जरूरत है या कितनी appetite है. I think a lot of freshers would also be watching. So how you started your investment? जब पहली fresh job लगी, what was the first investment that you made and how you went about saving at that time?
Yeah, so actually I come from a very very modest family, right? So the first thing which I wanted to do when I started earning post my MBA, right, was to secure financial future for my parents that time. So you'll be surprised, the first product I took, financial product ever I took was term insurance.
ULIP?
No, I took a term insurance, right? Because I was like, and that's the rule which I have always followed, that whatever is my annual income, I should have a term insurance of 10x of that. Right. So that at any point, the future of my family is secured. The second thing which I did was put some money in fixed deposits, right, as a corpus, which can help me in bad times, right? And then I slowly started increasing my risk appetite as my savings grew, right? So initially I started investing in mutual funds and also started reading about different other direct equity investments, another asset classes. And slowly and gradually, I introduced other asset classes in my portfolio. So I think second year after after I started working was the first time I invested in stocks.
Okay.
Right. Till that time, I was only investing
in
in
mutual funds. Do you actively
funds.
trade right now also?
No, I don't. So right now, because of the startup, I don't get time. So that's another learning I have. If you can't actively manage your portfolio or track the stocks which you are investing in, it's always better to leave it to the experts. So invest in good mutual funds, which can give you steady and consistent returns over a period of time.
Got it. And there is lot of chatter around कि अभी small or medium finance banks भी अपने FD लेके आते हैं.
Yes.
So are these FDs secure, and what are the checks that government has put in place for these FDs?
These FDs are 100% secured, right? So this is again a misnomer that if an FD is from SBI, then only it's secured. If an FD is from, let's say, a small finance bank, that's not secured.
Right.
FDs in any of the banks up to 5 lakh rupees is secured through an insurance which is an entity of RBI.
Okay.
Right. So if you keep 5 lakh rupees in SBI, is equally secured as if you keep 5 lakh rupees in, let's say, any small finance bank.
Right.
Right. If you keep more than 5 lakh rupees in any of the banks, that's not secured.
Okay.
So till 5 lakh rupees, you should try to optimize your returns, the bank which is giving you the best returns, whether it's a small finance bank, whether it's a smaller universal bank, or whether it's SBI or SDFC, you should invest in those.
And is this option available on SalarySe as well if people want to invest?
Yes. So we have FDs paying as high as 9% interest on our SalarySe platform, right? So any of the customers who want, they can come. It's a fully digital experience. You don't need to open a bank account. You can just come at one click of a button. You can invest and you can redeem whenever you want.
And do you feel that this 9% rate, is it sustainable in long run? या आपको लगता है कि there will be policy changes, it will come down, so better start investing today itself?
I think you should start investing today, right? Because we are at the peak of FD rates.
Okay.
It is going to come down as the time passes, right? And maybe it could be as soon as in next 3 to 6 months. So if you have idle funds, you should invest right now so that you can enjoy these benefits.
Got it. And you talked a lot about investor education also, कि आपको knowledge होनी चाहिए चीजों की. So what are certain modules which are present on your platform if somebody wants to embark on that financial literacy journey?
So again, one of the very interesting thing is most of the people read, the most read module on our platform is how to manage credit, and is credit the right thing, right? So people do want to know about it, but they don't want to talk about it. Apart from this, we have different modules on your investment strategy, how you should think about your investing, what are the different asset classes you have, and how you can think about those asset classes. We have a module around tax planning, because that's very, very important from a salaried customer perspective, right? So how do you plan your taxes? What are the terms, first of all, right, which you should understand about your taxation? So yeah, these are some of the interesting. Insurance is a very well-read module on our platform. Almost 20% of the customers have read insurance module.
I think insurance में भी होता ही है कि lot of people depend on their employer कि वो हमें cover कर लेते हैं, but understanding this is also equally important कि आपका खुद का भी एक cover होना चाहिए. You can't always rely on your employer.
Yes, and there are different nuances to the insurance, right? So let's talk about health insurance, right? Health insurance, if you have covered your parents or your family members in your office health insurance, right? And if you leave the job and your parents crosses a certain age, then you will not get a health insurance from outside.
Right.
So this is the challenge which I faced with my parents.
Okay.
When I left my job, they were already 66 years old. So most of the insurance companies will not cover you at that age.
Right.
And I had to pay significantly higher premium from one of the insurance companies to take a health insurance cover for them.
Right.
So these are some of the mistakes which we should avoid. Similarly, for life insurance, what an employer covers you only till you are employed in that organization, right? But as your age increases, your life insurance premium, the term insurance which you will take, keep on increasing. Right. So if you have logged in the premium early on, then you will get the advantage out of it.
I see most of my friends taking it in mid-30s compared to 20s में जिन्होंने ले रखा है उनकी premium hardly कुछ जाती है, and mid-30s में it's quite high. I'll now move to slightly personal side of things. You have worked at a management consulting firm, and there was recently a lot of talk about work culture at Big Four consulting firm. So, what are your views on that? And is environment so hectic, so pressure driven when you work in a consulting firm?
So I think, Shashank, the answer lies somewhere in between, right? I would say, so consulting firms work in a certain way, right?
Okay.
There is you work with clients. There are tight deadlines which you have to follow
Right.
when you work with clients, because you are working on a problem statement which is very important to the client, right? And there are long hours. There's no doubt about it. But having said that, it also depends from on the firm where you are working, right? How do they manage your workload, and it also depends on you personally,
Right.
Whether you are able to manage that workload, and are you enjoying that working so hard, right? So I would say you should, if you have tried that job, if you have tried that life, and you are not enjoying it, right? You feel that it's not something which is for you. You should take that personal call and move on from that job. Life doesn't end there, right? But if you ask me my personal experience, I never felt that I was being overburdened. I have worked in consulting for almost 9 years, and I thoroughly enjoyed my experience there. I think I had a very, very supportive firm and the managers who helped me really well. Even when there were times when I had personal responsibilities to be taken care of, and I got those free times.
So I think it again depends to manager and the organization that you are in. What was your typical day when you were working in a full-time consulting role?
So these are slightly longish hours. So I used to typically start my day early. I used to start at around 8:30 in the morning, just to plan my day better, and typically used to end on a normal day by 8:30 in the evening. So and obviously then you have some few days where you stretch. The other thing which I always used to do for myself, right, which helped me, and maybe it might be a slightly contrasting viewpoint, is that I used to always keep my Fridays light, Thursdays and Fridays light, so that I could enjoy some time during the middle of the week. And if there was a work, I used to pick it up on Saturdays or Sundays, like for a couple of hours. So that used to be quite normal for me. It used to help me manage my life, but it's something to each his own.
But we see a lot of founders coming from management consulting background, building great startups. So what is learning that you get there that is maybe transferable here, and then you maybe scale it further?
Very interesting question. I think if I talk about my consulting life, I think 4 key things which you learn in consulting, and quite early on, which in other jobs might take some time to learn, right? One is just being agile, right? So what happens in consulting is every 3 months, 6 months, you will change jobs, you will change projects, maybe you will change industries, you will change clients, right? So that agility, where you can enter into a new assignment or a new company and work with them on their problem, right? And solve the problem they're facing together. I think that's one very, very key learning or a skill set which you develop early on. Second is very important is how do you work with different people, right? Typically in an organization, what happens is you're working with your manager,
right?
Or let's say his boss or her boss. There are 2-3 people who you are working with. But in a consulting, typically you have to work your own organization with your own organizational hierarchy. You have to work with client hierarchy, and that also keeps on changing. So that's a very important experience which you get early on in your life, working with different people. And it could range from, let's say, a manager at a client side who will be in his or her 30s,
right,
to a senior to an MD who would be in his or her 50s, right? So that's a very important experience which you get. I think third is just being collaborative, because there's a problem which you get. You have to work with your team and the client team to solve that problem in a very time-bound manner, right? So So that's again a very key learning which you get when you work in consulting, which I think really helped me while I was building a business. And I think the fourth and the last thing is, how do you just trust your team, right? How do you build a team and how do you trust a team? Because there the resources are very limited. So how do you give the maximum responsibility to your team and get the max out of them is very, very important.
I think that's very valid 4 points. I'll steal them, and maybe when I'm talking with my team next, I'll definitely talk about them. I just wanted to understand your current team structure at SalarySe. How big is the team? What is your role here? And what are day-to-day things that you are doing here?
So currently we are close to 40 odd people, and I think thankfully we have been able to build a great team. Our role, I think, as founders, is just to manage external stakeholders, right, and provide the strategic direction to the team. Otherwise, we feel that we have a good set of leaders in our team who are managing their the organization quite well, right. One thing which we do very judiciously is that you be available whenever the team wants to have a discussion on any topic, whenever they want to brainstorm on any topic, right. That's a cultural thing which we are building in the organization, that you have to be always at the disposal, right. So rather than team being at your disposal, as a founding group, you have to be at the disposal of the team, right.
Got it.
So that they can perform at their best.
Got it. And where you see this sector going forward, maybe next 2-3 years down the line, what are some of the disruptions that you will see will happen in the sector that you operate in?
I think if you take one sector in India where we are like leaps ahead of any other country, it's financial services, right?
Right.
We have already seen massive disruption happening in two financial services product. One is just the banking penetration.
Right.
We are near 100% banking penetration owing to the Jan Dhan scheme which was announced by the government. Right. And second is in payments. Because of the UPI, now we are globally number one in terms of payments. I think the third area which is being disrupted now, and which I feel will be disrupted in next 2 to 3 years, is credit. Right. And there are very interesting products which will be emerging. Some of them are already started, right. So like one of the products which we also offer is credit on UPI, right. Till now, for any credit product you have to take, right, one, they used to be extremely cumbersome process, and second, either you have to take the money in your bank account or you have to carry the plastics, right. In terms of cards to spend amount through your card. But now, because of credit on UPI, your credit and your UPI experience can be integrated seamlessly, right?
What is credit on UPI, if you can simplify it for the audience?
So it's basically on your for your UPI payments, rather than making the payment through your savings account, you can make through a credit card or a credit line issued by your bank. Right. So you will keep on making the money, making the payments like you do all your UPI payments. But rather than going from your savings account, it'll go from your credit card, right? And that's the massive disruption, because now for even having a chai or a samosa, you can use a credit card rather than.
I think it will fundamentally change the way point system, which is their reward system, because now people will gather more and more points.
Yes, and your use cases just widens, right? So in India today, we have 7 to 8 million POS machines where you can swipe your card, but we have more than 50 million QR codes, right, where UPI is accepted, and that's the power of UPI, which is being brought onto credit, right. So you'll be able to cover practically all your expenses through your credit. Second, you will, as you rightly said, right, you will earn rewards on that, right. And third is you'll be able to manage your expenses better,
right. आई एम गेटिंग एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग मोहित की फ्यूचर में फिर ये होगा कि अगर कोई केवल पीओएस के बिजनेस मॉडल पे है तो वो डिसरप्ट हो सकता है. सो एवरीबडी इन फिनटेक विल ट्राई टू मे बी डाइवर्सिफाई इनटू दीज डिफरेंट सेगमेंट्स so that they can build a long sustainable business model. Is this something that you also feel will happen, ki every player will try to become a full stack fintech firm instead of just focusing on one product?
I think, Shashank, my personal view is that full stack business models will emerge, but there'll be more disruption in terms of creating vertical fintechs, right? So picking up a sector and or a segment of customers and building a fintech venture for that, right? Because every customer segment has a different need, right? So like we have seen in e-commerce, where earlier we only used to have two horizontal platforms like Amazon and Flipkart, but now we have a lot of vertical platforms like Nykaa, Myntra, right? Now it could be industry specific or a product specific platform, right? A customer segment or a product specific platform. So I think the similar disruption will happen in fintech. So like we are building a full stack platform for salaried customers and creating products which are specifically designed for their needs. Similarly, if you are in the merchant business, you can create a full stack business for merchants. Now that could include catering to their asset side and liability side both.
Got it. And you are building for salaried professionals, but a major chunk of their time goes into working in the organizations that they are part of. So, in organizations के साथ भी are there any plans to tie up with them or maybe bring some offering which is in say coordination with them or in combination with them, जिससे इन लोगों के लिए और चीजें simplify हो जाए?
Yeah. So this is the model which we follow. Right?
Okay.
So our business model is that we first partner with your organization, and then we enable our platform for you. Right. So what advantages it gives to our customers? One, their process becomes extremely seamless, right? Because we are integrated with their organization. A lot of information, let's say what banks need from their organization, you can give us the consent and we can take that information from your organization and give to the banks. Right. We can enable more products for you. Right. So today, if you are not able to get, let's say, a credit card or a personal loan from any of the financial institutions, we can enable that for you. And third is we are curating products at as a combination of your corporate use cases and your personal use cases. Right. So I'll give you a very small example. If you are in a sales role in any of the corporates, right, you would be spending throughout the month on behalf of the corporate because you'll be traveling, you'll be visiting different areas, right? Flights, hotels, cabs. So you have to collate all of those bills, then submit for reimbursements. Organizations will verify those bills and they will maybe pay you after 45 days or 60 days, depending on their payment cycle. We are enabling this experience seamlessly on our UPI. So you can make your payments through our UPI, and then from there itself, you can generate a bill which you can give it to your organization.
So no need to scan it, maybe track it.
And organizations are very happy to enable a lot of these products because they also save a lot in this process, right? Both in terms of costs and also in terms of operational hassle. And third is it becomes a very strong value propositions for their employee.
I think it will also lead to cost saving for the employers because if you have these kind of offers which are customized as per the team needs, so at least आप वहाँ पे भी कुछ delta save करते हो.
Yes. So from an organization perspective, right? One, they save costs on the operational teams or operational processes which they have put in place. But more than that, it becomes a very strong hook for them to retain their employees because it's a very strong employee value proposition that you are thinking about your employees. You are bringing partners who can curate products as per their needs, right? So we recently launched in one of the very large IT firm, right? And there, the kind of engagement which we saw for our platform, we were told that that's the top engagement they have gotten for a long time. Right. That's the best engagement they have gotten for a long time because typically organizations also find it very difficult to engage employees in different initiatives.
Got it. And say if I move from one organization to another, will these points and benefits they remain intact in my account or do they remain with the organization only?
No, so on our platform they remain with you. They remain intact with you.
So irrespective में अगर job change करके दूसरी जहाँ भी आपका type if I go and use तो वो accumulate यहाँ पे होता रहेगा. So it makes sense. Otherwise, you will lose out on the point that you have gathered.
So there might be some changes here and there in terms of the product availability because we might have tied up with your organization to provide you one specific product, which might not be available with your future organization. But otherwise, the platform remains open for you. Whatever you have gathered remains with you. and you can further add on to it.
Got it. I think this brings me to my last question. What are your plans for next 6 months, and what is one thing that you are excited about?
I think the next 6 months plan is to just acquire more customers, partner with more and more organization, right? We have recently launched our credit card. We want to scale it up, right? Because in my mind, that's a very good product as a consumer.
Right.
As a customer, you can take it, you can seamlessly use it on UPI. You get the best of rewards on all your UPI spends, and you can redeem those rewards on our platform across 200 plus brands.
That's
right?
massive.
And those brands includes anything you use, anything and everything you use on a daily life, whether it's Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, Uber, anything. So I'm most excited about it. Second thing I think I'm most excited about is just speaking to more and more customers, getting their feedback, and then shaping up the product according to their needs.
I think you are on a very noble mission to simplify finance for salaried professionals, and wishing you full power in this mission. And thank you so much for taking out.
Thanks a lot, Shashank. Great talking to you.
I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Subscribe to the channel for more such content and let me know in the comment section हम किस next guest को बुलाएं जिससे आपको meaningful information मिले.